Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Wellness Lounge. We are in our third week of the She Is Well series, and I am ecstatic about tonight's guest. She is the business matchmaker, Miss Jonika Lynch. And let me just tell you, we have a history. So we'll be diving into that and what does that look like? Because tonight's topic is the business of you. That's right. We're getting all up in your business and we're going to be talking about business. But before I bring Jonika on to today's show, I have got to tell you guys a little bit about what happened and transpired this weekend, although that will be a part of our conversation as well. We hosted the third Women, Wine, and Wellness event, and it was absolutely amazing. And I'm not just saying that just because I was the host, I'm saying that because of what transpired and what took place at that particular event. And I'm still getting phone calls, text messages, inbox reviews about the event. And truly, my goal, as I said last week on the show, was to re-engage women in the community. We're really coming out of the pandemic and just getting back together. During that event, I asked the women to create a community initiative that would solve a problem that women and young girls are facing. And each of the groups created a community program or created this idea of a program. And guess what? It all revolved around the same or a very similar issue. And so we're also going to talk about that a little bit on tonight's episode as well. So it was really a party with a purpose. And I had an excellent time doing that on Saturday. It was really a day party social, as I said, party with a purpose. And I want to thank our Put It in the Bag sponsors. And so I have just been shouting them out all week leading up to the event. And then also tonight, as I open up tonight's show, I want to just send a special shout out to them, the products Put It in the Bag sponsors, because again, without them, a lot of what we were able to do on Saturday wouldn't have taken place. And they were just some excellent gifts that they provided to the attendees. And one was the Shea Butter Like Woe from Terry Williams. He provided an excellent, I call it a travel size um, sample of his shea butter. So thank you from Terry, Shea Butter Like Woe. And then we had Chandrika Makel, and she is with Love Notes Candle. She was a put it in the bag for the VIP sponsors with her company, Love Notes Candle, and gave each of the VIP attendees a beautiful smelling candle. And just the presentation of the candle was amazing. And it promotes you falling in love with yourself, just the way that it smelled as well. And then we also had Party in Silence, who contributed pins, and then what I like to call the convenient on the phone pop sockets for the phone when we're always trying to take our cute selfies. She did a contribution with that, and I want to say thank you to them. Again, when you're hosting events and when you're doing things and you have people that believe in you as well as their products, it is truly a win-win when they partner and sponsor with you and provide products. So thank you. Now, as I move forward, shift gears, I want to bring on to tonight's show my special guest, Miss Jonika. Hey there, Jonika. How are you?
Hello, I am doing absolutely amazing. How are you? Looking
I'm doing
beautiful as
fine.
always.
Yes, I'm so glad that you are able to join us tonight. Listen,
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just listening to you, had goosebumps talking about Saturday, and I can't wait till
yeah,
we dive into that because you're right. It was a party with a purpose, but it was so many amazing women, and you can't do anything but just grow and love and celebrate when you're in the midst of so many amazing women. Yeah.
absolutely. So now I did a little bit of introducing who was coming before them tonight. I want you to really just, because you did such a great job on Saturday, give us just a snippet, right? As we pull back the curtains, like I could do that whole pull back the curtain thing of who Jonika is. Um, as the business matchmaker. So just tell us a little bit about that, because from there, we're going to dive right into the business of you. So tell them who
Absolutely.
Jonika Lynch is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Jonika Lynch, and I am known as the business matchmaker. And I help influential women in business scale their business and stabilize their business. And how I do that is help them explore ways to navigate through professional networking and marketing while increasing their brand visibility. I often am heard saying, I put the right people in the right rooms at the right time so that they can properly introduce themselves. So I absolutely love what I do. I'm all about connectivity. And tonight we're going to dive in deep why connectivity is so crucial, so important to your business.
Absolutely, yes. And so I know I say that word quite a bit lately. Absolutely, absolutely. That's like going to be like my favorite word. If somebody says,
2020.
yes, 2020 is like the word, the year of absolutely.
Yes, yes.
It's so true. Like when everything aligns up, it's like absolutely.
Yeah.
But so when we talk about first of all, when we talk about connectivity, I think the most important thing, and that is why I captioned today's show as the business of you. I think it
Yes.
is very important. And if there's one thing that I was able to make an observation about, because, as a host, I was a busy bee. I'm going around, making sure that I'm, talking to each of the ladies that were there in attendance. And again, because we have not physically seen one another for quite some
Mm-hmm.
time. So
Mm-hmm.
just going around and really networking and
Mm-hmm.
reintroducing myself to a lot of the women who I haven't seen in a while. And one of the biggest things that I feel that as business owners, as women, is understanding who you are. And so, in order
Absolutely.
to do that whole connectivity piece, we have to really make sure that we're very comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
that. Who are you? Because a lot of those women that were in the room didn't know one another. And so,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody walks up to you and says, "Well, who are you?" And I hate to, when somebody says, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
First, I always introduce who I am,
Yeah.
and then what do I do? So tell me that whole distinction and how important that is when you're talking about kind of being out networking or attempting to make a connection, even if we're talking about a virtual connection.
Yeah.
How important do you think the distinction is between just getting in somebody's DM or being
Mhm.
introduced to them and going straight into what you do rather than who you are?
Absolutely. First, I think it's so important, and that you just use, as you said, we're using that word absolutely. And let me adjust my crown because, my shirt falling everywhere.
We
Let
have
me
to see
fix,
all of you. Put
listen,
all that right.
let me fix myself up, right? So we have to be clear, crystal clear of who we are in our objectives and the reason why, right? So it's so easy. I tell individuals, don't be intimidated by the room. When you go into any type of event, whether that is a personal professional event, but for tonight we're talking business. So especially a professional event. The purpose of going into a professional event is to meet like-minded professionals. And with networking, what individuals have to understand, networking is a contact sport. Networking is a sport where you introduce yourself and you don't have to go in. I know we hear a lot about uh, the elevator pitch. So I would say, contrary to popular opinion, if I'm meeting you for the first time, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to hear a whole elevator pitch like you're reading off of a script or some kind of writing dialogue where you're trying to explain who you are. I want you to be comfortable at being who you are by simply just introducing yourself. So let's say when I came in a little late. So the one of the things for me that's important is when you come into a room, you want to introduce yourself just by saying hello to let people know you're in the room. So if you notice, I went around to each section and just say hello. That's just the proper thing to do. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? And what happens is when you do that, you open up opportunity, one, for people to see you, to notice you, two, for them to start feeling comfortable because now you come into them, so you feel a little bit more approachable, right? So now you feel a little bit more approachable. And that's actually what happened. I had three people at your event on Saturday that came to me right away and said, "Hey, I love your personality. Oh, you think," and they really don't really know the depths of me, right? They just know the surface part from when they met me, but I made them feel comfortable enough to feel that I was approachable. Networking, when you're in a professional environment, when you come into the professional environment, I always tell people to know where you're going, for one, to understand the spirit of the room, to understand the event. So if I know that I am going to any type of networking event, I look up information as far as where the event is, the host of the event, the type of events they give. And I know sometimes we don't actually have time to do all of this in steps, but it's so important for you to basically understand what you're walking into, and knowing the temperature of the room, as I can say, before you get there, because that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. It also makes you feel a little bit comfortable with what you're wearing, your dress. Sometimes we go places, we feel overdressed or underdressed, knowing what type of environment it is. As you had, it was a day party. So, I was a little bit comfortable. Okay, I can be a little bit more relaxed. It's a day party. The women, everybody was so gorgeous. Everybody came, they were beautifully dressed, they were comfortable, but I felt comfortable within me. So that is the first key, feeling comfortable within yourself. And when you introduce yourself, you don't go in right away for the sale. You don't go in right away for the pitch. Basically, hello. This is a day party, right? This is a day party. It was not a business exchange, and knowing the difference. So the first thing you start off with, and I know it sounds cliche or simple, just simply introducing yourself. And that goes a long ways.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, I'm sitting over here. I'm like backstage, like, yes, yes, yes. And
Mhm.
two things that you spoke about that I certainly do. I do that with it, which is make sure that what the purpose, I know the purpose of the event,
Yes.
so that I know, like you say, taking the temperature of the room, reading the room. And even as a host, I had to do that, right? Because I had two separate things planned and I wasn't quite sure which of them would be appropriate based
Mhm.
on the temperature of the room. Because remember, we're re engaging the community. So we're not quite sure whether women are there and they're just wanting to kind of socialize and maybe
Mhm.
not, kind of be pinned down to that. Or maybe they're just there and they just want to let their hair down and just
Mhm.
turn on some music and let's dance, right? So it was really important as a host that you're able to read the room and decide, okay, what is it that I have planned? Do I need to switch because this isn't the plan that I had
Mhm.
for the day? This isn't the vibe that I'm getting. And
Absolutely.
then the other piece of it that you said is just going around saying hello, understanding that they know, yes, I may be the host, but I'm approachable. I'm here for you,
Mhm.
even as the host. What is it that you feel that you need and would like to get from this event as well? So it's really like a twofold. And I know we're kind of pigeonholing it by talking about a specific event, but there's a larger idea or a larger
Mhm.
perspective that you can get based out of what we're sharing for tonight. And
Absolutely.
that is you understanding you. Don't come in with the elevator pitch necessarily. I think being able to read the room, knowing why you're there, knowing what the purpose of the event is, for me, is really the top three things that will determine the success and how you feel once the event has ended. What your feedback or what your experience is with the event.
Yes.
All right.
I have, there's not one event that I don't attend that I don't have clear intentions. I know why I'm there, right? So
Yes.
I know
Oh my
exactly
goodness.
why I'm there. And
Yeah.
that makes it more easier, makes it more relaxing for me. And what I've learned to do over the years is to have fun, to
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
fun, to have fun. And I've met, women from so many various different
Mhm.
backgrounds, and just to come in and be authentically who I am, that speaks values. Everybody wants to feel valued. Everybody wants to feel connected in a sort of way. So, like you said, as a host, you want to fill out what the temperature is to make people feel comfortable and to see that you are approachable. And you did exactly that. So, no matter what event you attend, we have to begin to dismantle that herd mentality. And what
Yeah.
a herd mentality is going somewhere feeling that we have to stay in one zone one group
Mhm.
of people with the people we came with. We have to just sit there and we don't expose ourselves. We don't get up and explore the room. And
Mhm.
dismantling that herd mentality will really help you begin to build and foster relationships with people
Mhm.
from various different backgrounds. It is really about diversifying your networking opportunities and leveraging the networking opportunities that are out there.
Right, and I find that when you put yourself in those type of situations, like you said, to really get out of that herd, kind of mentality, or
Mhm.
just staying in your bubble to really be safe, is that you recognize also things about yourself when you put
Mm.
yourself in other conversations, right?
Yeah.
Whereas though you may have felt comfortable over here, if you put yourself in, quote, an uncomfortable crowd, or maybe at an uncomfortable table, at a, around an uncomfortable women, because it's uncomfortable because you don't know them.
If you don't know them.
They may ask you questions that you may not have been asked before, so it may allow you to dig deeper to really figure out how to answer that or how to approach that. So that's allowing you to uncover and learn something about you
Yes,
and about
yes.
your business and about yourself, or maybe
Yeah.
the services or the products that you offer and how you're presenting it, because maybe you were never asked a question
Yes.
in that manner, right? To be able, so there's a lot of different things that can happen when you put yourself in those situations.
Yeah.
But when you come and you don't, network or commingle, or, even allow yourself to be asked those questions or put in those circumstances, you may not be able to unveil that or find that out
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yes, it's really about having a growth mindset. And as you said, when you go out to these events, you take inventory. There are
Yeah.
certain things you find out about yourself. There
Mhm.
may be questions that you may go back and say, let me research this. So
Mhm.
when I attend the next event, I am better prepared. I know how to approach it. I know how to answer it, you know, and I know how to get out of a challenging
Yeah.
situation that I'm in, right? Because
Right.
as you said, we're around new people. So let's be
Mhm.
honest, you're coming into
Mhm.
unfamiliar territory, right? And for a lot of people, everybody is not that social butterfly. But I
Right.
tell my clients, when I speak at events, I tell them I meet introverts who are really killing in their field, right?
Mhm.
Because they
Yeah.
understand their purpose and they understand the
Yes.
value that they offer and they understand their mission. So when you are intentional
Mhm.
about networking, you understand what the intent is, then you go in with a plan, right? Most people don't get up in the morning failing to plan. They fail to put a plan in action. So you have to operate like that with everything. So even
Absolutely.
when you're out networking, and it's time for you to market your business because you are the ambassador. I have to
Yeah.
say that
Yes.
you are the ambassador. You're the first ambassador of your business. So you're the first person. So how you show up and present yourself,
Mhm.
it really lends to how well you're going to be when it comes to converting, when it comes
Right.
to establishing and building relationships that are longevity, right?
Right.
So it's important for anyone, any business owner, whether you are a startup business or well-established business, you have to really look at your marketing strategy. And when people think of, oh, Janika, when you say marketing strategy, they always think of something big, right?
Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
we're talking $1,000 budgets. And no, 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 no. Marketing strategy is basically simple a method, some type of marketing method that you have so that you can increase visibility and make sure that you increase brand awareness. People need to know who you are
Mhm.
and they need
That's
to know
good.
who your business is, right?
Right.
So you need a strategy, and that strategy can be something as simple as, you know, 6 months. I'm going to attend two networking events twice
Mhm.
a month for 6 months. And then I'm going to come back and evaluate. I'm going to see what I've learned, who I met, and how
Mhm.
well I followed up. Because the fortune is within the follow up. So
Yes.
that's a whole nother level. So
Yes.
we're not just busy people, right? I say that all the time. So I'm not
Mhm.
saying that you just go to all of these different events because mass activity don't equal productivity. So you
Right.
could just be busy doing a whole lot of anything and it's not giving you any return on your investment.
Yeah.
So the
You just said a
marketing,
mouthful. That is so, so true. I know
yeah,
for me, when I first started out, I really felt like, for one thing, it was me trying to get comfortable going out. And as I said before, while I was out, I learned things because what I knew I was passionate about and the way I was explaining it, it didn't translate well. And so I learned that, but I didn't, I only knew it and learned it from getting out and
Mhm.
putting myself in uncomfortable situations and
Mhm.
having people ask me the difficult questions like, who do you serve? Why are you doing that? Well,
Mhm.
what's the end result? Like asking
Mhm.
those questions. And I'm looking around like, I didn't quite think that. All I knew was I was passionate about coming out here helping women to, live healthier, better life.
I
And I'm
want to help the world.
yeah, I'm trying to help the world. I'm trying to solve their problems. They need me, right?
Yes.
And so I'm like, why don't you see it like that? Isn't what I said, translating into that? So early on, I had to learn that and understand it. And yes, I felt, deflated when I'm first starting out. Like, that didn't go over well. Like, this
Yeah.
wasn't a good, but there was a lesson in that. It
Oh
was
wow.
because my messaging needed to be tweaked and the way I presented it needed to be improved. But if
Yeah.
I had not gone out to network and to put myself in uncomfortable situations, I wouldn't have known that. I would just think that my message is, getting out there. It's the greatest message that's being received by, my target audience in the right fashion. And honestly, it wasn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You oh my God, you're like, oh, you're stepping on toes right now, right? Because I had to learn that. And over the years of networking, I earned the title, the business matchmaker. I can say that because just like you, there were so many different rooms that I had access to. And I just knew that I just wanted to help people, right? It's like, oh, it's part of my DNA. I just bring people together. And my core values over the years have not changed, but my value proposition has changed. So as I grew and evolved, I had to go back and look at my vision and mission statement. And there were things that I had to tweak, revise, change to fit the objective, right? So I needed to create an infrastructure that fit the objective and the narrative of who I am today. And as you go out and you start to build and establish relationships and you're learning more about yourself, because you can learn a lot through that, then you go back and you realize again, my core values has never changed. They will never change. But
Right.
my value propositioning has changed.
Exactly.
And
Oh,
how I
you put that
approach
so
it
good.
has
You put
changed.
that. Yep. Hashtag that. You
Yes.
said that. And that again comes with understanding the business of you,
Yes.
understanding the value that you bring, and then tweaking your value proposition based upon that.
You know what, Delana? I've
Mm.
realized through these years of networking and marketing and building relationships and helping other people build and grow,
Mhm.
scale their business, what I've realized is everyone is not your ideal customer.
Oh, we had that conversation, right? All money ain't good money, and all customers do not have to be.
And we spend a lot of time chasing this phantom of acceptance.
Yeah.
Like I said, dismantling that herd mentality we feel in business. I see a lot of that.
Hmm.
Not stepping outside of your zip code, as I say.
Right. Hmm.
Feeling that we have to play in one playground, right? When the world is massive.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of time feeling like we're chasing. And I say, you're not chasing clients. You have to become a magnet.
Mm.
And in order for you to become a magnet, you have to position yourself accordingly. You have to position yourself as the subject expert in your industry so people can start looking at
Goodness.
you as the go to person, as the
Right.
thought leader. Then you will start organically attracting your target audience. But
Hmm.
we do it backwards, right?
Yeah.
Because
You
we're
just dropped the
excited.
gem right there. You just dropped the gem right there.
We are. We are
Yeah.
excited.
Mhm.
I was throwing events everywhere and wanted everybody to come and this person
Yeah.
and that and family, friend, everybody. Like I'm so
Yeah.
excited because you want people to buy into your
Yeah.
vision. You want
Hmm.
them to believe in, because when God showed you that glimpse, like you're so excited, you're on fire. You're
Right. And
running
they need to be
fire.
excited too. You're
Yes.
doing 100 and they need to be just as excited. Right.
Like you're going to know me. You're going
Right.
to know what I'm talking about, right? And then you
Exactly.
start to get no's or rejection. And that's why I said that when there's a glamorous side to entrepreneurship, you toughen up.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't learn. You don't learn unless you get out there. You
Mhm.
got to plug yourself in. I say
Absolutely.
this, you can't win the race if you don't join the race. And
Come
you don't
on.
even have an opportunity to be a
Mhm.
contender in the race if you didn't sign up to join the race.
Right.
So you got to show up. And then showing up is how you, of course, you fumble your way forward, but
Right.
you learn. There's some things that I do today that when I think of hindsight, right?
Uh-huh. Of course.
Hindsight didn't work for me then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I start to think about it, what it has done is just taught me lessons on how to operate and how to navigate
Mhm.
in this world
Right.
of
Yeah.
business.
So the biggest thing, and that's why I say to people, even introverts,
Yeah.
learn, even if they're not comfortable, there's a lot of things that they can learn even by being an observer if they show up to networking events, right? Even by being an observer, gain knowledge by being in the room. Period.
Yes. A lot of things you learn. If you are one who um, you aspire to become an entrepreneur and you're looking at hosting events, going to an event show you
Mm-hmm.
from the front door. That's where you take your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
The setup of the event, the host, right?
Yep.
It tells you different areas. Okay, well, this might not be. You learn, right? Um, and then what it also allowed you to do, even when you're learning, if it's something that you can apply, like you're applying to what you do as a business owner, it also showed you some things not to do,
Yes. Absolutely.
some things not to do, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say when you have clear intentions and you know whose you are,
Mm-hmm. That part. Mhm.
whose you are, right? And you understand your assignment,
Yes.
then you
Come
really
on.
know how to maneuver and
Mm-hmm.
navigate when you attend certain events and you go in with a purpose.
Right.
So let's say this, give you a clear example. I remember when I wrote my first book, 2005. I had no clue what I just knew that God just said, "Girl, you want to write?" I'm like, "I'm not a author,"
Right.
right? Little chocolate girl from South Fulton Avenue, right? I come from a family of Southern people that everybody speaks Ebonics. Like it's in my family, right? It's that Southern
Mhm.
accent that comes out, right? Not glorifying it, but it is what it is. It's
Mhm.
how they were raised, and of course, I'm raised in the house with them. So I'm thinking, you
Right.
want me, God, to write a book?
Mhm.
Like,
You want me
you
to do this? Put that in a book, pages?
yes, like, are you serious? But the chosen,
Mhm.
but the chosen, God will put you on an assignment, and He will bring the people.
Oh my
All
goodness.
you have to do is make room. And
Yes.
you got to stand firm in your calling and make room because he will bring it.
Yeah.
So in 2005, when I authored my first book, I was like, how am I going to get this book out there? And the only thing that I knew how to do was to be authentically me because
Mhm.
that's who I bet on.
Right.
I
Yeah.
betted on me then and I
Mhm.
bet on me now. So I trust me. I trust my ability to get out there and to meet people. And I
Right.
was like, I don't know who to meet. How? I said, get out there. So as you said, just learn.
Just
Go
learn.
to an event. Sign up. I knew enough to know that there are different events. And guess what? If I fumble, even if I don't sell one book, I'm going to learn
Mhm.
something.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what happened. I met friends that I have today who have helped me in so many different aspects of my life from events that I went to and had not a clue. My first
Mhm.
event, I went in there. I had this little book with oh my god! Every time I think of it now, I
Where
had
you
like this
going
lilac color plastic tablecloth. Oh,
next?
you yeah. And I go in here and I see these banners and these big
Mhm.
billboards and I mean these women. Oh my god, just books and not only books, they had cards and then here I go with my book on the table with probably like 10 of them.
Right. And you like,
But
how am I gonna make this look nice
no,
looking around at what the
how?
environment you're in?
How?
Yeah.
So I was so uncomfortable. I got up and I started
Mhm.
walking around the room and meeting people. But every table I went to, I noticed something different. I said, oh, that's a good idea. I was taking
Mhm.
inventory.
Right.
That's a
Right.
good idea. I can do that. So the
Mhm.
next time I came back with more, I came
Right.
back with more,
Yeah.
right? You just gotta plug yourself in and get out there,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to grow.
Yeah, that's a good example about like what you said, sometimes putting yourself in situations where you take something from the situation that you're in, because I too have done the same thing. I've even as a speaker, kind of even when I've gone in the room and felt like I've captivated the room as a speaker, as I'm there and I hear another speaker speak and
Hmm.
I like the way that they have organized their speech, I'll say, you know what? That's a good idea. Maybe I should do this or incorporate what I heard them say or how they said it into the next time I speak because I saw a different move in the audience, the way that they did it. Maybe
Yeah.
their open was different. Maybe their story was a little
Hmm.
different. Maybe
Hmm.
how they positioned the
Yeah.
opening and the story, and the acts and the inclusiveness in the audience, right? So there's something that I feel that we can take from each exposure, but you have to
Hmm.
make sure that the business of you,
You.
that you are comfortable with what you represent,
Yeah. Yeah.
what you are passionate about, what you are doing, and who you are serving. That
Yeah.
all of those things have to be very clear. You have to make sure that they are aligning with the you that
Hmm.
shows up when you are out networking and putting yourself in situations to meet other individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you have to, when the question, people can tell when you're stumbling over the question, right?
Mhm.
So when they're asking you a question, they can tell when you're speaking in great conviction, you're speaking from your truth, or you're stumbling. And that's going back to the elevator pitch.
Right.
I can tell when someone is going into their elevator pitch. I
Mhm.
instantly get it. Why? Because I'm a business matchmaker. I am a referral attraction specialist, right? So I go out, I'm a recruiter. This is a part of my DNA. So even when someone comes to me, whether it is a multi-level business, or I can tell when you're ready to go in for the sales. I can tell when you're pitching me. I can tell
Mhm.
all of that, right? And my face sometimes may show it. Um,
Right. You
be-
that whole shift thing,
but
like, okay,
the
here
whole
we
it,
go.
it may even show it. I can tell
Yeah.
because then I start to see that you're feeling uncomfortable. You have practiced this. You
Yeah.
have practice. It's like you're giving a speech, and we may only have a second. And see, when you're at an event, you only have a second to make a great impression.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
people, the event is busy, the mood is shifting, the atmosphere. They
Mhm.
really didn't hear anything you said
Mhm.
past hello, I am.
Right.
And this is why it's so important that the follow up, because
Yeah.
if I'm in a room full of 50 people, I automatically know I need to follow. I can tell you immediately who I
Yeah.
need to follow up with.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you sat there and you told me how when the day you started your business, how your business got started, when you grew your business, and your projection,
I'm
your
gone.
10 year, you forecasting, I didn't hear none of that.
Yeah.
You lost me in the translation.
Yeah.
But I understand you were, most people, they don't mean to lose you in the translation. They're
Mhm.
nervous.
Yeah.
They're nervous.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's why the advice I will give is to have fun with it, be comfortable, know your business, know the industry. But as you
Mhm.
said, know your value and your
Yeah.
worth, know your business. So you
Absolutely.
show up differently, you show up with clarity, you show up with confidence, and
Mhm.
that people can feel that they when they meet it just shakes the room. It's like they know you there
Yeah.
without you saying
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah, yeah. I was just getting ready to say that. So you did it. See how you obviously read me because I was about to say what tips can you give or advice as we wrap up about being the business of you of showing up. If anyone who's watching, listening to the podcast or watching the replay, and I want to just shout out a couple of our amazing viewers that are here with us live tonight. We got Sheila, Sandra, we got Toya that have joined us on one of the platforms. And then we're, of course, going live on several different platforms. But I'm just looking on my personal Facebook page right now as to who I see live in the audience. And then we got Dion, she's there, one of our OLBA fans. Hey, Dion, how are you? She just had a birthday recently. Happy belated. So As we wrap up, I want you to drop some business matchmaker gems about the business of you really showing up. If we have some ladies on here that are watching us that has an event coming up this weekend or next weekend, I want you to take them through what it looks like to go in and be effective, even if it's not a structured network
Mm-hmm.
event. Say
Mm-hmm.
that they're out, like I'm going to a tea this weekend, right? That's not
Yeah.
necessarily a structured event where I'm
Yeah.
there to network, but it's an opportunity because I'll be in the room full of women. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. You really just answered the question, right?
Yeah.
That like there is no magic formula, but you answered the question. We have to make it simple.
Hmm.
We can't get caught up in a paralysis of analysis and make it so intense that it's not fun anymore, right? That it's not celebrated anymore, right? That we have to get to the point where we are comfortable in the skin that we in and that we know our business, right? So the first thing I would say for anyone is to have a checklist. And on your checklist as a business owner, the marketing piece of your checklist is your why. Why are you attending any event? Why are you networking? Why is it important for you to meet people? Why is it important for you to not just meet people, but to meet decision makers, right? Because that's going to help you, right? Increasing your brand visibility will help you increase profitability. So, this is where I'm going with that. If you are in the business to make profit, then you will understand your why. You will study your why because you need to know why you need to make profit. Then you need to break down how you're going to make profit. And if you're trying to increase brand visibility so that you can increase profitability, then you need a checklist. And if part of your marketing strategy is attending different events, you need to, before you attending the event, Delaney just gave an example as a T. She's going there to have fun. But having fun, she's having fun with other like minded professionals, with other next level thinkers. So the conversation isn't, I'm not going there to sell a wellness product, but I know that I'm going there with the mindset of, hey, I may meet someone that can potentially be a good person to collaborate with, to establish a relationship with, to learn about, first and foremost, their business, and to build. So I have a checklist. So let me tell you a couple of things real quick because I know the time is winding down on my checklist. So on my checklist of any type of event that I'm going to attend, I do is how I started out. I find out a little bit more about the event. Look at it like this, ladies. If you were going on an interview for a job, what would you do? The one of the things that you would, the process of preparing for an interview, you would know where the location is, how to get to the location. You will go research the company. You will learn a little bit about the company, whether that is the vision or mission statement, because that would help you dress appropriate. I'm not going, if I was a nurse, I'm not going into a company to apply for a position and I don't have my nursing uniform on, right? So I prepare myself. So that's the first thing I do. So if I'm going to the tea, we're going to say the tea event. Learn a little bit about the atmosphere. Have they hosted a tea event before? That helped me prepare the night before to make sure that my garments, my clothes, and everything. And the reason I am stressing preparing, because again, if you go somewhere and you don't feel good about yourself, you're not going to present yourself. And you want to show up in the best version of yourself. So you don't want to be somewhere because you threw on a dress that was too tight, too small, all of these things, because even though that's not the most important thing, let's be real, we're women, right? Sweat on us will make us feel a little anxiety. So I have to know, okay, if I'm bringing a sweater so I can take it off, my shoes. I always say I got 45 minutes heels. I'm going to walk around that room 2 times, take pictures with my shoes, and I'm going to put on some slippers. And I'm saying this because I have seen women at events not show up at the best level they are because their feet hurt. So now you're in the corner because your feet hurt and you're tired and you didn't bring the proper shoes. So that derailed you, right? This was something that stopped you from showing up as the best version of yourself and being there at 100% yourself to meet people because now your feet hurt. So preparing. Then also I make sure that I have a pen. I make sure I have a pen. So even if you're not a person you put numbers in, how are you going to document the information that you receive? If you're a person who has business cards, I make sure I have my business cards, right? Now we are elaborate. People have the, different ways of communicating. So sometimes you meet people and they just put your information in the phone. But I always once I put their name and their information in the phone, I always write where I met them at. So when I follow back up with them, then that's the first thing. Hey, I met you at the Women's Wellness Lounge on Saturday, right? Then when I go in, after I speak, I survey the room. Prepare, make sure that you're preparing the day before, survey the room.
Mm-hmm. That's it. I
I
love
can
it.
go on and on.
Yep, no, but I think that those were to me, the top ones, because when you really think about the event, everything that you just said is exactly what I tend to do. Number one, of course, looking at the event itself, I prepare. I do not like to be at an event unprepared, because then I feel like the rest of what I'm going to experience is going to kind of be flapping in the wind.
Yeah, you done robbed yourself from the
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. So I think, just like you said, and really just having that checklist. And even for me, if it's not a physical checklist, it's a mental checklist. Even if it's not something I'm physically checking off, it's a mental checklist, because you've kind of been there before, right? As far as networking. So now it should be something that's kind of ingrained in you. Where's the event?
Yeah.
What time does the event start? What time do I need to leave so that I arrive on time?
Mm-hmm.
What am I wearing? Do I have my backup shoes? Like all of those type of things. Yes,
All those things.
certainly.
And
Yeah.
people don't understand how
Mhm.
important that is. I've learned through attending so many events that is extremely important, right? And we
Right.
really don't talk about those things, but they are
No,
things that make us feel uncomfortable. And when you
absolutely.
are uncomfortable, you don't show up. And if you got to take somebody else.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yep. So
So
true.
I know if I'm going to be speaking, I am a speaker at an event. I know I may need someone to go with me because, and then I tell them, what, listen, I need you to go there and I need you to take notes. I need you
Mhm.
because you're my study guide. So
Right.
so the next day I'm going to call you and say, did I say something wrong? What could I've done better? Right? Speak. So they already know what to look for. I need you so they are clear, like clear on the assignment, right?
Right.
So
I love that. Yes. Clear on what it is.
they
They're
clear what
supposed
they
to know
there.
what they need from you, what you need from them. So
Yes.
absolutely. And Mahisa said, yes, welcome, Mahisa. How are you? And also we have Hillary from Chicago. Welcome, ladies, to tonight's live episode of She Is, with our special guest, business matchmaker Jonika Lynch. So we're wrapping up. So hopefully you got the nuggets. If not, you got to go back and watch the replay. Okay. The last thing Mahisa said, survey the room to see who I need to follow up with is great. Absolutely. Yes. And that goes into the whole planning process, surveying, understanding, and knowing why you are there. All right. So I know how to get in touch with you. I have your personal phone. Let's see what Dion said. You are speaking the truth. Shoes has ruined it for me before. That is so funny.
Yes,
Absolutely.
because you
Because
want to sit in the corner
you-
somewhere. You done.
your whole entire like my mental, if my feet are hurting or if I'm just uncomfortable, it's like everything else can't even process. It's
You
more
don't
like
even
womp womp womp.
process it.
Yeah, because I can't hear anything because my pinky toe is dead. Like I can't hear anything because I'm so uncomfortable.
You don't. And Delana, these are things that we don't talk about, right? So we
Right,
talk about the elevator pitch. We talk about handing the business cards. But
right.
we don't talk about us, as you
The,
just
yeah,
said,
I said the business of you.
the
We have to
business
talk
of
about
me,
you, who's
because
showing
you're
up.
representing you,
Yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna put up here. I want you to tell as I show our viewers. I want you to tell the viewers and the listeners how they can get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you do, to work with you as a client, or to join your amazing business organization.
Yes, yes, yes. Ladies, for everybody who's listening in, we will love, love to have you to come just find out a little bit about the Opulent Lady Business Association, which is a females founders firm. It's a global support network for women. And you can reach me everything opulent. www.opulentladyba. So it's post somewhere here, OBULENTLADYBA, Opulent Lady BA. We also have a virtual lounge, Opulent Lady Virtual Connection here it's on Facebook. We're on IG and LinkedIn under the Opulent Lady. So you can connect with me through the Opulent Lady Network. My information is there. I am hosting a April the 1st, and
Ooh,
I will go into a deep dive on marketing, right?
yes.
Today we just gave a little niblets, but we would talk about how to stabilize and how to scale your business through effectively networking and marketing. We would talk about different marketing tools that you can really dissect to see what it takes for you so that you can start to increase your brand visibility and grow
Mhm.
customers.
That is
You
so
want to
important.
join me, ladies? April the 1st, April who? This is business matchmaker Jonika Lynch.
I love that. April who? All right, Jonika, thank you so much, the business matchmaker, for being
You,
tonight's special guest in the Women's Wellness Lounge. You
you're
guys,
absolutely
I thank
welcome.
you so much. Yes, Jonika, you are looking great and fab. I had to
Thank
put you on
you.
spotlight again. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining me for another amazing episode of the Women's Wellness Lounge. You know that you can find us at womenswellnesslounge.org or on Facebook and social media. Come on into the Women's Wellness Lounge, where we give you real, raw, and relevant health information. We are always looking for people to donate their time, talent, or treasure. So you can find out information about that again at womenswellnesslounge.org. We also are finally finalizing our contributing authors for our last book in the anthology of She Is Well. So this is an amazing time for you to join because listen, this is the She Is series. So you can become a contributing author in the She Is Well book by going to sheiswellbooks.com, or you can join us for our next information session at on March 31st, and we're doing that session to answer any questions. Although when you go onto sheiswellbooks.com, it'll likely answer most of your questions, but sometimes people just kind of want to have their questions answered before moving forward. And of course, I do a deep dive into what it really means to join as part of our tribe, as we like to refer to the She Is Well um, group, because we're not just sharing our stories, we are really affecting change in a community with the She Is Well anthology. This is the third book. It will focus on truth, trauma, and triumph. And it's the feminine evolution. So it's really part of rounding it out, um, being able to share your story, your way, sharing your voice that will impact a community and a village of women. So, again, I've been your host, Delana Watkins. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching the replay, or listening to us on your podcast. And I will join you guys next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with our special guest, Tamika Rachel. And she is the queen of wellness. So we're going to wrap up this She Is series talking with her, doing a deep dive. And that conversation, let me just tell you, we give it to you raw. And so that will definitely be some raw conversation for you ladies to tune into next Wednesday. So until then, be well.